Let's jump right in. Today we're going to be talking about healthcare in Mexico.
Yeah, this is especially important for anyone listening who is living in or moving to Mexico,
Yeah, with a non-Mexican
with a
passport.
non-Mexican passport, right?
We've got some great interviews here from the Mexico Relocation Guide and Financial Liberties YouTube channels,
Hmm.
and we're going to try and distill this into what you need to know about navigating healthcare as an expat.
Yeah, and I think it's a topic that a lot of people don't think about until it's too late. You're down there and suddenly you need medical care.
Right. It's an emergency.
Right.
I don't want to be figuring that out when I'm in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get ahead of that. And I think the first thing that people need to know is that there's really two main options for healthcare in Mexico. You have the private system,
Okay.
and you have the public system, which is called IMSS.
And from what I've gathered, there is a big difference between those two.
Huge difference. I mean, night and day. Think of private hospitals in Mexico as top-notch facilities.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They often rival or even surpass the quality of care that you would get in the US or Canada.
Wow. The sources describe them almost like high-end hotels.
Yeah.
Private rooms, nurses, you've got your specialists right there on site.
Yep.
They even talk about English-speaking staff.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the doctors in private hospitals in Mexico were trained in the US or Europe, so their English is excellent.
And that's comforting to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very different than the IMS, the public system, which sounds a little more bare bones.
It's much more basic, yeah. You're talking shared rooms, long wait times. A lot of times you need to have a family member there to help care for you.
Really.
Yeah, it's a different experience for sure.
So private really is the way to go if you want that quality of care down in Mexico.
I think so, yeah. And one of the things that really struck me when I was researching this is that a lot of Mexicans who can afford private insurance choose to go the private route even though they have access to IMFS.
Wow. Okay.
So that tells you something.
Yeah. That's a pretty strong endorsement.
Right.
I'm sure some people listening might be thinking, well, I'm an expat. Can I use IMSS?
So technically, yes, legal residents of Mexico can enroll in IMSS. But I think every source we looked at kind of cautioned against that for expats.
Why is that?
Well, for a number of reasons. First of all, IMSS is really designed for Mexican citizens. And, one of the points that was made is that if expats are using IMSS, that's potentially diverting resources away from the people who really need it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty strong ethical consideration to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people, that resonates.
Yeah.
Then you have the practical considerations. I mean, there can be long waiting periods before you're eligible for full benefits.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, we're talking potentially years.
Hmm.
And even once you are eligible, the quality of care, like we talked about, just doesn't compare to what you'll find in private hospitals.
So it sounds like the big takeaway here is for expats, private healthcare is the way to go
I think so, yeah, for peace of mind.
for the quality of care
Absolutely.
and then ethically as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where the importance of having a good broker comes in.
Oh, yeah. I think this is key, because a lot of people think, oh, I'll just get health insurance. But it's not that simple. You need somebody who understands the system, can guide you through it.
I mean, it's a foreign insurance system, right?
Right.
You're going to be reading things in Spanish. You're dealing with a whole, new set of rules and regulations. It sounds like a nightmare to try to do that on your own.
It can be a real headache, yeah. And that's where somebody like Brett LaMar, who was featured in a couple of our sources, comes in.
Right.
He is a broker who specializes in helping expats find the right private health insurance.
So, in a sense, he is your advocate. He's helping you get the right plan, and he's also, translating all this complexity for you.
He is, yeah. And not only that, but he can also help you if you have to make a claim. If you have to go to the hospital, he can help you with the paperwork, make sure you're getting the coverage you're entitled to. He can even help you find English-speaking doctors.
Oh, wow. So it's like having a healthcare concierge almost.
Pretty much, yeah. And he's also got a great reputation. I mean, we did some research on him. He's a former U.S. Marine. He's been living in Mexico for over 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he knows the system inside and out.
He does, yeah.
And what I like about what I've read about him is that he's got that personalized touch.
Mm-hmm.
He's available 24/7 on WhatsApp. It's not just like you buy a policy and then he disappears.
No, he's there for you. You can call him, you can text him. He'll answer your questions. He'll help you out.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So having someone like him on your side, it sounds like that really makes all the difference when it comes to navigating private healthcare in Mexico.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about peace of mind.
Yeah.
Knowing that you've got somebody there who's got your back.
So let's dig a little deeper into this idea of having a broker like Brett LaMar in your corner. What are some of the specific benefits that our sources highlighted?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's the peace of mind, like I said. Knowing that you've got someone who understands the system, who can answer your questions, who can advocate for you.
Right. I mean, you're dealing with something as important as your health. You're in a new country.
Yeah,
You don't want to be messing around. You want to know that you've got the right coverage.
absolutely. And you also want to know that you're not going to get ripped off, that you're not going
Yeah.
to get overcharged.
Right.
Because it happens. There are hospitals down there that will try to take advantage of expats. Oh, yeah. They see you coming and they think, okay, this is a foreigner. They don't know how things work here. Let's see what we can get away with.
So Brett can help protect you from that.
He can.
That's great.
And, beyond that, he can also just save you a lot of time and hassle. I mean, imagine trying to research all the different private health insurance plans available in Mexico, comparing the coverage, trying to figure out what's best for you. It's overwhelming.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. But with Brett, he does all that for you.
So he's like your personal shopper for health insurance.
Yeah, he is. He finds the best deals, he gets you the best coverage, and he makes sure that you're happy.
So really, at the end of the day, it's about making informed decisions and having the right resources in place to ensure your well-being while you're in Mexico.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like a broker like Brett LaMar can be that crucial resource.
He can be.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, to be honest. If you're serious about taking care of your health in Mexico, reaching out to a broker like Brett LaMar should be your first step.
I completely